9. Feedback. There's useful feedback and there's harmful feedback. Useful feedback lets you know what you're doing wrong and how to fix it. Harmful feedback is aimed at the ego, good or bad, but it doesn't give you any information on specifically what you can improve or specifically what you did wrong or right. Harmful feedback are things like, you suck, you're terrible at your job, or, wow, you're so amazing, you're an awesome person. Harmful feedback can be both negative and positive. We don't think about it very often, but positive feedback like that is actually harmful because, it's not like it doesn't give you any insight on how to improve yourself, but it can also give you a false sense of confidence. Have you ever gotten so many compliments on something that you didn't feel like you needed to improve anymore? I know I have, and most likely you have too. And you've probably also had a situation where you got zero, you only got negative feedback where they're like, oh, that was terrible. No, you can't do that. And you probably stopped, most likely. Both of those are harmful feedback because they're not productive. Useful feedback tells you what you're doing wrong or right, and it tells you how to fix it. Within the category of useful feedback, there's 3 types: outcome feedback, informational feedback, and correctional feedback. Outcome feedback, well, let's say you're on a date, okay? And by the end of the date, your date is making weird faces at you, doesn't want to go on another date, kind of withdrawn, and you can clearly tell that you did something wrong, but you don't know what. You just know that you did something wrong. She doesn't want to see you again. That's outcome feedback. Outcome told you that you did something wrong, but it didn't tell you how to fix it. Maybe she really, really liked hanging out with you and wants to go on another date, but you don't know why. It's the same thing. It's just outcome based feedback. Informational based feedback would be, let's say you're on that same date and she laughs at a certain joke you make. So you know the joke was funny. You don't know why it was funny, you just know that it was funny. That's informational feedback, where you know exactly what you did wrong or right, but you don't know the reason why or how to fix it. Let's say you made the joke and it didn't land. She just looked at you with deadness in her eyes, like, was that supposed to be funny? That's informational feedback. And the third one is correctional feedback. Let's say within that date that you're on, she looks at you and she goes, you know, your tie is really ugly. You should find a better tie. That's correctional. She told you what you could improve and how to improve it. Maybe she says, it looks like someone threw up. It looks like an old lady tie. You should buy something that's more sleek. That's correctional feedback. Or maybe she says, why are you keep looking down at the ground? You should make more eye contact with me. That's correctional feedback. So the 3 types: outcome-based feedback, information-based feedback, and correctional feedback. Now, as a bonus, I'll give you 3 general tips for feedback. The first one is noise cancellation. This is when you have so much feedback coming in and out, left and right, up and down, inside and out, and you don't know what to listen to. Being able to drown out the noise, the unuseful, just yappy sounds of feedback. This happens a lot to like really famous people who are super successful, where people are saying all these conflicting ideas about what could make this person better or what this person is bad at and why they're terrible or why they're amazing. That's just noise. So being able to drown that out and not change your entire approach based on one data point, being able to filter out the little itsy bitsy critiques here and there that aren't really that important. The best way to do this is to look for consistent feedback. feedback that the majority of people are saying about how to improve. The second one is to find the difficulty sweet spot. Um, if you're not, if it's too hard and you're not having any success whatsoever, you need to make it simpler so that you can get good feedback. But if you're always getting so much good feedback, you need to make it more difficult because it's too easy. So finding that balance between always good feedback and always terrible feedback and finding the middle point where you're getting good feedback and bad feedback, that's where you want to be because you'll always be improving, but you also won't be crushing yourself. And then the third one is to try using high intensity, rapid fire feedback. This is where you put yourself in a situation where you're getting lots of feedback super fast in a short amount of time. Like, and it's uncomfortable, this kind of feedback, because there's so much information, negative and positive, being thrown at you, and you're putting yourself outside of your comfort zone. But it's the best way and the quickest way to improve. So I hope that those tips were more helpful, and I will see you on the next chapter.